Let's bring in Republican Congressman Jim Jordan, ranking member of the House Oversight Committee and also a member of the President's Impeachment Defense Team. Congressman, thanks. You heard one there, echoing Chuck Schumer on the floor where he said trial without evidence is not a trial but a cover-up. Your response to that?
Well, what he also said, Chuck Schumer said the dark of the night because senators may have to work past dinner time. It made me think Adam Schiff, Brett, did 17 depositions in a bunker in the basement of the Capitol, and now they're talking about, oh, this is not going to be done in prime time, so to speak. I thought that Senator Schumer's arguments were weak. I think this case is strong for the president on process grounds. He was denied due process in the House. And I think most importantly, the facts are on the president's side. 4 key facts have never changed, will never change. They all support the president's position. That's why I think he's going to prevail when this is all done.
What exactly is your role as a part of the president's team?
Well, Pat Cipollone has put together a great team. We're going to do whatever Pat instructs us to do, however we can be helpful. But that's Pat and Jay Sekulow and his team at the White House, their team at the White House. They got great lawyers. They're going to, I think, present an excellent case because, again, the facts are on their side. They're the top-notch legal team. And we'll do whatever they ask us to do because we want to help the president any way possible because this is so ridiculous. And, again, these 4 facts, Brett, the idea that we have the transcript, there was no quid pro quo in the transcript. The 2 individuals on the call, President Trump and President Zelensky, have repeatedly said that there was no pushing, no pressure, no linkage between the security assistance dollars and any type of investigation in Ukraine. The Ukrainians didn't even know at the time of the call that aid had been held, and most importantly, they took no action. They never started an investigation. They never promised to start an investigation. They never announced an investigation. They took no action to get the aid released. Those 4 facts will never change no matter how long Jerry Nadler and Adam Schiff talk.
Congressman Jordan, no doubt the Democrats in the Senate will bring up a lot of the testimony that was heard from those 17 witnesses, over 100 hours of testimony of people who say the opposite of what you're saying, that there was clear signs that the money was being withheld and that it was for a political reason. That's the Democrats' argument here. One of the things that I think we are going to hear that drifted out this morning is this question of whether or not the White House attorney Pat Cipollone, who you just mentioned, has firsthand evidence of any of these things, and can he be pressed to divulge it? I mean, obviously that goes straight to an executive powers question that would, I would imagine, be tied up for quite some time.
I mean, that's ridiculous. The president's lawyer is going to be, I mean, that is just ridiculous. I don't see that ever happening. There's no reason for that to happen. There's no basis for that to happen. Again, Tell me when the announcement happened. This is the Democrats' case. They had Ambassador Sondland, who they mentioned 611 times in their report as one of their witnesses. When did the announcement happen? When did they announce that they were actually going to investigate Burisma and the Bidens? It never happened. Those 4 key facts that I just talked about are never going to change. The facts are solidly on the president's side. I think that's why the American people understand this is ridiculous, and I think that's why the president's going to prevail. Hopefully in as short a trial as possible because, again, all the truth, all the facts support the president.
As, Congressman, Senator McConnell's essentially saying, what's the purpose of the House impeachment inquiry if they're going to reopen the case here on the Senate side? How long, if you had to guess, do you think that this goes? And do you think that the Senate will hear from witnesses?
I don't. I mean, again, the facts are so strong, as I've said, for the president. I think when Pat Cipollone and his team present it, I think the senators are going to say, yeah, that's the case. Those are the facts. They support the president's narrative. Ukraine got the money. They got the money before the end of the fiscal year, September 30th. So the whole GAO thing, I think, doesn't mean much. So I think it's just a strong case. I would love to see this thing dismissed right away. That's not going to happen. They're going to have the motions today to determine the rules package. Then they're going to have the hearing or the presentation from the House manager on the Democrat side and then the White House counsel's team. Then they get to questions. I assume there won't be witnesses, and I assume the president will be acquitted sometime next week.
Congressman Jordan, you argued vociferously for minority witnesses on the House side. So wouldn't that principle also be in play on the Senate side? Can you understand their argument?
No, on the House side, we didn't get any witnesses. We just argued for a fair process. Every single witness called was Adam Schiff's. Adam Schiff did it in the bunker in the basement of the Capitol. There were times, Martha, where we asked the witness questions in these depositions, and Adam Schiff prevented the witness from answering our question. He wasn't just chairman of the committee at that moment. He took on the role of being the lawyer for the witness. They got a lawyer sitting right beside him that they were paying a lot of money. The lawyer can make the argument if there's some privilege that he wants to assert and prevent the witness from answering a question, not Adam Schiff. So that's the kind of process. No due process rights for the president. The president wasn't allowed to be there to see what was going on, wasn't allowed to cross-examine. We weren't allowed to call any witnesses. And now they're talking about process when Senator McConnell is simply following the precedent set 21 years ago during the Clinton impeachment process.
So you think there'll be no witnesses, period?
I do. I think they have the votes for that, and I think that's the proper. I think that's the right thing to do. I think that's where all the evidence should be. If they wanted these witnesses, the House could have taken a little more time and called them on the House side. And frankly, they could have. We heard the argument from Senator Schumer. If you're not afraid of anything, if you got a strong case, let the witnesses come. That's the argument we made on the House side. Is if you have a good case, if you have a strong case, if you have the facts, you wouldn't deny due process rights to the minority, and you wouldn't deny due process rights to the president like Adam Schiff and Nancy Pelosi and Jerry Nadler did on the House side.
Congressman, we appreciate your time.
You bet, Brett. Thank you.